How often should you train? This is a pretty debated question and people always seem to go to the extremes. Some people will say, yeah, I train every day, and then other people say, well, you actually only need to train 2-3 times a week. But what's the truth? The truth is there are quite a couple of factors that will determine how many sessions in the gym you should have per week. And we're going to go through those, and hopefully by the end of this you will be able to figure out how many days you want to go to the gym yourself. The first thing is intensity, volume and reasonable frequency. You should train every muscle group at least twice a week. Non-negotiable. And now that we got this out of the way, we can start talking about intensity, which comes first. You should train very close to failure, not 2 to 3 RIR, okay? 1 or 0. When you have that, you will be able to start determining how much volume you need, and only after you got that can you start thinking about how many days you want to go to the gym. Because if you don't know how many sets you want to do per muscle group, it's kind of like trying to divide an unknown number. You cannot divide it because you don't know. The second thing is how long have you been going to the gym? If you're a complete beginner, most people will start you off with 3 sessions per week, which is pretty good, but I would say for a complete beginner, even 2 sessions per week is fine. This is because when you're a beginner, you don't need a lot of volume, and also very important, when you're a beginner, you don't want to go to the gym 5-6 times a week because you want to build up the habit of going to the gym. You don't want it to become a chore and you want to actually miss the gym. If you miss the gym on your rest days, that's good. And while you can go pretty far with 3 sessions a week, it obviously doesn't last forever. And also later on, it's probably a good idea to kind of split up your sessions so you don't just do full body all the time. And that's when you will get to 4 to 5 sessions per week. This is best for intermediates, and honestly with 4 to 5 sessions per week, you can pretty much do everything and you can go a very long way. I personally do 4 sessions per week. It's an upper-lower split and it's perfectly enough for me to progress on everything. But eventually, if you want more, you can go up to 5 sessions, and for most people, I would cap it at that. As popular as push-pull leg splits are, pretty much 99% of people shouldn't go to the gym 6 days a week. They don't need it. And that's where the 6 days a week comes in. I believe that it's pretty much for fun for most people. A lot of people just enjoy going to the gym and therefore they enjoy going to the gym 6 times a week. That's understandable, but again, don't believe that you need to go 6 times a week. I used to go 6 times a week for such a long time and it didn't serve me. Now, I do think that if you get very advanced and you want to absolutely maximize your gains, and since you're very big and experienced, you need to do a fuck ton of volume to progress. For those individuals, I could imagine that 6 days a week is needed, but you probably don't need it. The next thing that's actually quite important is how often can you go to the gym? Because if you decide on the number of sessions that you're gonna do per week, you should do that every single week. You should have no difficulty to do that. It's better to do a 4-week program and actually do it than to do a 5-week program but sometimes skip the 5th day, okay? Never skip the day. If you're like, yeah, but you know, maybe like 60% of the time I can make it to the gym 5 times, but I know that sometimes I can't, but I can always make it 4 times, go 4 times, okay? Don't even consider a 5th day. If you can only go 4 times, go 4 times. The 4th thing is personal preference, because actually, it doesn't even really matter how many days you go to the gym. It does matter to a certain degree, because if you need a lot of volume to grow, you cannot cramp all of that into 3 days. And it's also about how your life is working. If you're doing home workouts and you know that you got like an hour every single day to work out, but not more, sure, go 6 times. And if the case is the same, but you live like close to the gym and it really takes you only like 5 minutes to go 6 times if you want to. But if you're in my shoes, dude, it takes me like half an hour to go to the gym and another half to come back. I don't want to go to the gym 6 times a week, and also I don't need to. I can do all of my volume in 4 workouts, and while yeah, sure, those workouts are a bit longer, they're still not too long for me personally. So again, you do what you want. If it fits you more, go 6 times a week. It really doesn't matter that much. And the 5th thing that actually makes a difference is if you want to focus on a certain muscle group or area. Because let's say if you really want to focus on arms, it might be a good idea to have an arm day. Now, that doesn't mean that on that day you can only do arms, but it should be focused on that because that's why you're adding an extra day. And so in that case, it could be beneficial to go, for an example, 5 times a week, because you can do like an upper lower rest day, upper lower again, then an arm day, a rest day, and then start the whole thing again. Something I like to say though is oftentimes when you see a really big guy, he didn't get there with 5-6 days of training per week. Yeah, they might be training 6 times a week now because they need to train that much in order to still progress because they're so big now. But more is not always better, and you don't need to add days just for the sake of it. I remember that in the gym I used to go to the biggest natural guy, or at least I believe he was natural, was training 4 days a week, and I talked a lot with him. I saw his training all the time because we trained a lot together. And me and my friends were training 5-6 days a week, and I was like, if this guy is so big and strong and he's only training 4 times a week, why the fuck am I training 6 times? So that's a lesson for you as well. You don't need to live in the gym to get big. However, one thing you do need to get jacked is a functioning brain, which the guy that created the pose that I talk about in this video didn't have. Watch this next.